Okay.
And we're
One
back.
of the things that you mentioned is Mercury making three passes to Chiron in this upcoming Mercury retrograde. I
Mhm.
want you to explain what you mean in general by what it means when Mercury makes three passes and why that is important.
So Mercury's here to unveil a story, right? So there's a three parts to the story. We get the beginning, we get the middle, and we get the end. We get closure. We get some kind of closure in the end. Or we see the bigger picture to something that Mercury's trying to like help us see. So normally, I shouldn't say normally, we never know there's no normal. It's it just kind of is. But with this Mercury retrograde, it's he's only making three passes with Chiron. So there's a Chiron story that's coming up. It's like so we have the pre-retrograde, and that's where the first pass happens. It's like we're just starting the pre-retrograde. So on March 20th, um, Mercury's going to make the first conjunction. He's actually conjunction. I mean, in the passes can be anything. It's whatever contact Mercury is making with other planets the three times. So it can be a conjunction, it can be a sextile, it could be a square, an opposition. I'm
Okay.
not getting into the
Mhm.
smaller aspects of it, like, but just like focusing on those. Um, so every time, the three times that he meets those planets, that he's like aspecting those planets, it's like revealing another part of the story. So we have the first part during the pre-retrograde shadow. We have the second part during the retrograde. It's like, oh, wait, this was happening in the beginning. So now it's bringing us back to that point again. And then in the post retrograde shadow, he's he meets it again in the end. And it's like there's like some revealing, there's like some closure that comes, like an end to that story. Like,
Mm.
okay, putting this one to bed. Or okay, I got it switched and here we go. It's like it's kind of like whatever Mercury's message is, it helps reveal that message. Like those 3 points or those three um times that he meets, he's like getting something deeper into the message that he's really helping you to reveal for yourself. So I always say Mercury's gift is a message in the end. Like there's some gift that he's trying to get you to like see and some message that he's trying to get through to you. So I during one Mercury retrograde for me, it was all about receiving. It was like, can you receive? Like you can't receive. And it's like open up and receive. Like that's so big because if we can't receive, we can't even get the messages to come through to us. But there's some big message. And to me, this one is with it being an Aries, it's something personal because it's something within you. It's part of your wound that you came from this life or another life that you came in with to really heal. So there's something big shifting within us to help remove something out of us so we can be. So it's not holding us back. And we're not here to be held back. So we're not holding ourselves back anymore. It's like there's like a shift forward. And that's what all these other, we have the eclipses and we have the Jupiter, Uranus, like all of these things that are happening in this like really big, expansive way to like remove something big from us so we can really be who we're here to be authentically, like
Be
our part of
our,
our authentic selves. And that's
yeah,
part of Pluto, right? Pluto and Aquarius. And then we have all this Aries. It's like there's like really it's a really to me, it's a really powerful time to like make big shifts and changes. Like it's inevitable.
yeah.
Like you can't not change. Like you can't not do it. Like there's no not doing it. Like you're doing it in some way or
Like
another.
it
We're
or
doing
not.
it. Like whether we're
So you might as
forced
well,
or we're flowing,
so
and
you
that
might as
can,
well learn how to read and work with Mercury during retrograde and all of these things that he's calling. To me, it's like Mercury's calling in all of this energy, the
mm,
North Node, the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, the eclipses, all of the stuff that's happening, Venus
mhm,
doing what she's doing. He's like, okay, come on, team. We're all doing this
mhm.
because there's a change happening. And if you can learn how to work with that and read it
Yes.
and
And
flow with it, you will get what you need in order to. shed, break the outer shell, and be your authentic self that you came here to be.
Yes. And the reason why Mercury, like you think Mercury, he's just this little guy. He's just this little guy. And we have all these things, we have these, these other planets around us, the bigger planets, right? But Mercury is so powerful and potent because he is a planet that can take us down into the underworld. He's the only guy. I shouldn't say guy because he's not he or she. He takes on the flavor of whatever sign he's in. So in Aries, I say he. Um, but he's taking us down into the underworlds. Like he can go down into the depths of the underworld and he can take us up to the heavens above. So he has the power to go in all worlds and bring us messages and guidance. So that's why he's like so potent and powerful. And that's why we can't dismiss him. It's like you try to, you can't. And that's why I find Mercury to be so I don't know, you think of all the other stuff going on and then you have this Mercury retrograde happening in the middle of it all, or bringing it, calling it all together. So he can take us down and take us up, take us down and take us up, and bring us here and bring us out. Take us forward. And it's like the hummingbird, takes us forward, takes us back. He shifts and changes and goes, he's goes everywhere and anywhere.
Wait, no, why are you referencing the hummingbird? Nobody knows why you're referencing that. Show them your card.
Oh, yes. So Mercury, yes. So this is the hummingbird, and this is the from the Cosmic Ally deck. This is Mercury.
Yeah.
And
Mercury.
so he's the hummingbird in there in this card. And he floats and drifts like there's no bounds. Like Mercury really has no bounds. I guess his bound is the sun because he never moves that far away from the sun and he never goes that far away from the sun, right? So he has all of these interactions with the sun going forward and backward, these shifting and changing. So he's the
Are
closest
you
to the
talking
sun.
about just based on where he is? Or are you talking specifically about Mercury retrograde
No,
being close
Mercury
to
in
the sun?
general. Mercury in general. Like
Yeah.
Mercury, because he can never, it's 28 degrees. He's never more than 28 degrees from the sun. So he's always within 28 degrees of the sun. Where everything else is going around and back, he's going forward and backward for these retrogrades. We have three retrogrades 3 or 4 times a year, going forward and backward, always getting reborn in the heart of the sun, Kazemi. He's always like doing the shifting and changing. So we always have these opportunities to like shift and change, grow and evolve with Mercury. And he's just kind of going around our charts and doing all of this stuff with us, for us, like inviting us into these new ways to play with him. So the 3 passes just are a bigger piece to the story. Like it's like you have the beginning of the story. This is where it begins. The middle takes us back to the beginning to go over something to reveal like his message. And then you have the end. It's like a click. It's like a thing like, oh, I got it. And this one with Chiron, you're not going to miss it. Like I would say you're not going to miss it. Like it's going to be so there. Like you're going to get it.
You're not going to miss it if you're aware that that's what's happening.
I
You've
don't
got to
even
have
think,
an
I
awareness.
think if you're not even aware, I mean, something big is going to shift, like something, because it's a wound that's coming up inside you. You can't, to me, Chiron is kind of like Pluto in a sense, because it's that wound. And when Pluto like shifts, he's like roto-rooter stuff out of us. If you kind of think of like Chiron, it's like that deep wound. Well, something is getting like, some wound is like getting roto-rooted out of us. That's kind of how I would explain it, with Mercury going
Mhm.
over those places. Or you're just going to bury it deeper and that causes more disease in your body. You're going to see it one way or another.
Right. So what I'm saying is
Yeah.
you will be, if you know that Mercury is doing this during retrograde and all his teammates, his players he's calling in,
Yes.
you can use that awareness to heal that wound and to grow. But if you are
Yes.
not, if you don't know how to play with the planets like this,
Yeah.
you may not be aware and you
Yeah.
will just bury it deeper. So you'll still be affected. It's just
Yeah.
whether you know
Yeah.
how to work.
That's
Yeah.
why I love astrology, because astrology brings awareness. It just helps us bring awareness to things so we can shift, we can play with things so much differently. Like nothing, it's like you can just step into like a whole new way of like, oh, I see this coming. Oh, I see, oh, I can, what's this asking? Like you can start asking, what's this asking? And start stepping into and let it start guiding you instead of like
Hmm.
having everything like happen to you where it feels like it's happening to you. Like start shifting and changing it and start playing with it to where you can actually like grow, like really grow. That's what astrology offers us the opportunity to really grow. And Mercury retrogrades, like that's really what he's trying to help us do is like really shift and change and like play, like it's playful. It's so playful. It's so fun. Like he really does bring in a playful energy. It's like, art, can you play with me? Will you play with me? It's like that little 2-year-old within inside of yourself. Can I come out and play? Can I come out and play? That's what's kind of burbling up inside of us, right? Is it time to play? Is it time to play? It's like asking to be played with. And that's kind of that's what I feel like Mercury really invites is that the inner child within us to come out and play. Like it's time to play. Let's go. So that's kind of what the three passes help reveal to is like what haven't you let play? Like what aren't you playing with? Like what are you like burying and not uncovering and like being too hard on yourself, like fighting and resisting and, like pushing and pushing and pushing where things get so hard and frustrating. And it's like, well, wait a second. Like, let's go back and let's just remember to play with it and get really curious about it and like go into something new and different. So the three passes are pretty powerful. And they always, from what I have found, when we are aware, it does reveal a message. It does reveal a shift and change. Like you will see it.